Greetings. Today we continue our study in the book of Revelation. We're in chapter 6, verses 1 and 2 today, where we're considering the opening of the first of the seven seals of the book. Although the style of John's writing under inspiration of the Holy Spirit is quite simple, recording for us what he saw and what he heard, that is, the eyewitness accounts, the bulk of the book of Revelation requires much scrutiny, much careful study, much spaudeso, diligent study, as Paul said to Timothy. There's scenes in heaven, there's scenes on the earth. There is a chronological dialogue interspersed with seemingly parenthetical passages. Now we're introduced to the opening of the seven seals of the book. And yet the seventh seal is seven trumpets. And the seventh trumpet is the seven vials, the seven shallow bowls of God's final judgment. For this reason, we're going to take time to closely examine each one of these seven seals. So Revelation 6, 1 and 2 says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.' And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Now, there is a correlation between Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27, and Matthew 24, 4 through 31, with Revelation chapter 6. Daniel's list reveals seven purposes that God will accomplish into the 70 weeks, that is, weeks of years, upon Daniel's people, the Jews, and their city, Jerusalem, in Daniel 9:24. Infinitives are used: to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision, to seal up the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy one. Matthew gives a list of seven signs of the glorious appearing to the world as Israel's deliverer. Authority to rule in Matthew 24 and verse 5. Authority to wage war in Matthew 24, 6 and 7. Authority to govern economics in the form of famine in Matthew 24, 7. Authority to govern death by the word pestilence in Matthew 24, 6 and 7. 5. Authority to govern martyrdom in Matthew 24, 9 through 10 and 16 through 22. 6. Authority to govern creation, earthquakes, verse 7, the sun, moon, and stars in verse 9. And 7. Authority to execute judgment in Matthew 24, verses 32 through chapter 25 and verse 26. And as we will discover in our study, the opening of these seven seals in Revelation exactly answers to the seven signs of Matthew 24 and the seven purposes of Daniel chapter 9. The execution of these things culminates in the fulfilling of Daniel's stated sevenfold purpose toward Israel and the unbelieving world. So let's look at the consideration of Revelation 6, 1 and 2. Now in Revelation 5, we carefully considered this seven-sealed scroll as the anticipated, authentic, and authoritative title deed to Christ's inheritance and ours as joint heirs with him. Revelation 5 also plainly asserts that Jesus Christ is the only worthy one to receive the scroll as a durative possession, having both the authoritative and dynamic power to execute the decrees of the book. Therefore, Jesus Christ is the worthy one to be the object of all of creation's praise. So let's look at the bestowal of executive authority here in Revelation 6, 1 and 2. Notice first of all the action in heaven in verse 1. And I saw with the Lamb he opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying, just as a voice of thunder, you come and see. The word when functions in this verse just as it previously did in Revelation 5:8, meaning just as soon as. That is, just as soon as the worthy one, the slain lamb, breaks the seal loose or opens that seal, the action begins to be executed. The first of the four living creatures cries with the noise of thunder, come. Come and see is a repetition that is recorded for the first four seals. Now the word and see is found in the Textus Receptus, but it is absent from many other manuscripts, causing many authors to note that this command was not addressed to John, rather to the rider of the white horse. W.A. Criswell, Strauss, Stevenson, Robertson notes that John was already observing and that it is the rider who takes action in response to the command. But all I know for sure is that John does respond with keen observation, and the rider of the horse does respond to the command to come or go in the passage before us. It is also extremely important that we understand this executive authority belongs to the King of kingly ones and the Lord of lordly ones, as he's described in the book of Timothy. Yet in the Father's timetable for the ages, it is now allowed that one person upon earth should have this executive authority for a 7-year period of time.